And it is now my distinct honor to be able to introduce our commencement speaker. Dr. Kandis Boyd is a trailblazer, an advocate, a renowned expert in STEAM. This is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. She has nearly 30 years of experience leading, teaching, advising, and mentoring students and early career enthusiasts in environmental and atmospheric science. She was the first African-American female to receive an undergraduate degree in meteorology from Iowa State University in 1996. For those of you unfamiliar, that is one of the top programs in the US. And she continued her studies and received double master's degree in meteorology and water resources and received her doctorate in inter-organizational leadership and cultural values. How true is that and important today? She has worked for NOAA as an observational meteorologist, the National Science Foundation, and most recently, the US Environmental Protection Agency. Dr. Boyd, it's great to have you in our region, and I welcome you to the platform.
Let's do a sound check for a second. So my guest to my left, can you hear me okay? Thumbs up. All right, those in the back row, can you hear me? Okay, thumbs up, okay. I'm the youngest of three, so I learned at a young age, if you want something, you gotta speak up. So I just wanna make sure I don't blast you too much, because if I do, then all the way down the street, Frostburg is gonna hear every single thing I'm about to say, okay? So first, I just wanna say it is such a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for this incredible honor. I actually first experienced UMCES last year when I went to Horn Point in 2022, and I literally fell in love with it. For all of the science and the environmental advancements that are being provided on a daily basis, but also having a chance to visit the world's largest oyster hatchery on the eastern seaboard. So it's just one example of what UMCES is doing on a daily basis to point us in the right direction in terms of environmental awareness and environmental science. So I want to take a moment to thank everyone who was responsible for getting me here today. So first of all to Dave, because all the logistics, and trust me, logistics getting me here in one piece, it's not a small feat. So I first want to say thank you so much to Dave. I really appreciate that. Thank you to President Goodwin for that wonderful introduction. To Regent Bob Rao, thank you so much. To our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Michelle Masucci, and then again to all the wonderful UMCES awardees that we just heard about. Thank you for all that you do in your own special way to advance science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. I also want to take a moment to thank all the families here. The families, the friends, and also the supporters who have been a steadfast part of these graduates' lives as we've embarked on this all-important journey. And last but not least, to our graduates. Trust me, I know all too well the sacrifices that you have endured over the past years to get you here today. Those long nights, those endless studying sessions, the pursuit of reaching into the unknown, testing the limits of human knowledge, and of let's talk about those tests, those quizzes, those papers, those drafts, those writes, those rewrites, those re-rewrites, theses, dissertations, proposals, and all of that while many of you also served in some capacity as a research assistant. Trust me, it's not lost on me all that you did to get here today. And in addition to that, all of you juggled family, you juggled friends, you juggled work, and you juggled education. So I want to take a moment to salute each and every one of you for what you've done to get here today. So I wanted to, again, thank Dr. Goodwin for that wonderful introduction and highlighting some of my accomplishments. Many of you may know me from my work with the Chesapeake Bay, the largest estuary in the United States and third largest in the world. Some of you may know me from my work as a meteorologist, as an environmentalist, and a hydrologist, and trying to figure out the intersectionality of all of those important aspects of science. And some may know me because for the past nearly 30 years, I've devoted my career to advancing diversity, equity, inclusion, and environmental justice. But for today, I'm going to put all that aside, and I'm just going to talk to you as Kandis, someone that 25 years ago was exactly where you were. And to prove it, I brought my cap from, do the math, 1998. Does everybody see this? Yes, it still has dust on it. All right. But this is the cap that I wore 25 years ago when I was sitting in that seat. And I listened to a commencement speaker, and I was about to walk across the stage and accept my double master's degree in meteorology and also in water resources. So what I want to do is just take a few of those nuggets of wisdom that I learned that day, that I've learned along the way, and hopefully none of this will be new to any of you, to those of you who are in the audience or also to the graduates. So I know in the classroom that plagiarism is a no-no, but I'll tell you right now, everything that I'm telling you, someone has told me. And so all I'm doing is copying, pasting, or also known in the academic world, plagiarism. All right, so with that being said, let me tell you a couple of nuggets of wisdom to take with you for today. First and foremost is that we're all leaders. So I know many times people wait until you're up here, you're on the stage, you're giving words of wisdom to think that you're a leader. But each and every one of us is a leader in our own way, and we can effectuate change. So don't wait until you're the director or the CEO to start thinking about what you can do to change the world around you. Each and every one of us are leaders, and each of us can lead in our own particular way. Second, and we already heard this, so again, copy-paste, is that it's important to build your network. So everyone should look to your left and look to your right, because trust me, over nearly 30 years of my career, I still have strong, fruitful relationships with people who I started my career off with nearly 30 years ago. So take time now to build those relationships and forge new paths with your network. Next, failure isn't fatal. And I know sometimes we don't talk about failure, but you can't talk about success if you can't talk about failure. And as you heard President Goodwin say about all my wonderful accolades, and don't get me wrong, I'm proud of each and every one of them. But the reality is, for every success that I've had, I've probably had 2, 3, and maybe even 4 failures for every single success I've had. So the point is to understand that failure isn't fatal, that you don't crawl and run under a rock and just end your career. Failure isn't fatal, it just means redirection. And that's what we all need to understand as we move forward. And so to give you one example of that is that when I started my career, I wanted to be an on-air meteorologist. And so I had an internship in central Iowa at a television station, and I thought I had my dream job. Until one day, someone sat me down and they said, "You don't fit the demographic." And in a minute, in a moment, my world was shattered. And I thought that was the end of my career in terms of being a meteorologist. But just a couple of weeks later, I'm sitting in my thermodynamics class. Some of you may have taken that course. And a man walks in by the name of John Felt, and he's with NOAA's National Weather Service. And he starts talking about this internship program that they have where you can accrue college credit, and it's $12 an hour, and it's a great way to take what you're learning in the classroom and apply it in an everyday setting, and that if you finish the program, you can be non-competitively transferred into a full-time equivalent position with NOAA's National Weather Service. Now, I will tell you now that back then, I didn't hear any of that. You know what I heard? $12 an hour. My eyes perked up, my ears tuned in, and at the end of his presentation, I walked to the front of the room, I stuck out my hand, and I said, "Hi, my name is Kandis, and I'd like to be your next intern." and my world changed because I started as a GS3 student intern in the federal government, and I worked my way all the way up to senior executive service, which is the highest level in the civilian federal service. So if you take nothing else from my presentation today, is that failure isn't fatal, you can redirect yourself, and you can forge your own path. Next. Oh, thank you. I only have a couple more. We're almost done. Okay, next is to use power words. Now, many people think power words are these wonderful multisyllabic words that will just make people think the most of you. But if you want people to really be impressed by you, here are 3 power words that you should use on a daily basis. Please, thank you, and you're right. Right? Exactly. So learn that kindness is one of the most important qualities you can have for any job. It cannot be over or underestimated. It is something that we need to do on a daily basis. So let's change our mindset, because especially in the sciences, we learn these multisyllabic words all the time. But what's really important is how do we translate this information into easy to understand nuggets of wisdom that can help each and every one of us have a better understanding of the environment. All right, next, the best revenge in life is success. I can't tell you how many times as a queer African-American female that I have experienced all those isms and obias that we've heard of all too often. But if I focused on all of the negativity, if I focused on all the people who maybe thought that I wasn't worthy or I didn't measure up, I wouldn't be here today. So for each of you, trust me when I say this, because I've mentored over 100 individuals over the course of my career. It is important to understand that you are in charge of your career, and you shouldn't let anyone stop you from whatever dream that you have in the future. And again, the best way to show them that you succeed is to take the information that you have and move forward. So in other words, the best revenge in life is success. And then the last one, consider your legacy. So to our graduates today, I want to just ask you for a second, think 25 years in the future. Trust me, 25 years ago, I wasn't doing this. But if you are up here on stage and someone asks you to be a commencement speaker, what are you going to say? What is your legacy? What will you say about your career and how you've impacted society and the world around you? And have you mentored and have you helped? I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying it's doable. And that starts today. How do you chart your legacy? How do you start thinking about the future and how you're going to impact the future? The future starts today. So I love this phrase. I'm about to wrap up. Because that makes people start, again, their ears start perking up and they start to smile because they're like, whoo, great, wonderful, speech is over. But before I leave, I again want to just say congratulations to all of the graduates. Your accomplishments are amazing. You are amazing. And I know you're going to go out into the world and do amazing things. So let me leave you with what my commencement speaker left me with. And that is a poem called Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read the last stanza because that's the part of the poem that really resonated with me. And the last stanza says, "It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with the punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." Go out there, grab the world, and chart your future. Congratulations, and good afternoon.